תודה לך, תודה לך, תודה לך כלי הולך איתך ורק איתך לא יכול בלי תודה לך על חושך ועל האור הטוב תודה לך, אתה תמיד קרוב תודה לך על שמש בשמיים בכל יום על אהבה המלווה לכל מקום תודה לך על הניסים ועל הטבע גם מודה אני מלך חי וקיים תודה, תודה לך השם הלב דורש ומבקש על מה שיש לומר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם כל הנשמה תהלל קי וחכה רק לשיר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם הלב דורש ומבקש על מה שיש לומר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם כל הנשמה תהלל קי וחכה רק לשיר תודה פותח את ידיך ומשפיע לכל חי בהרי כויסי לוחם רוחו על כלי די הקל הזן ומפרנס גוזר ומקיים על הכל תודה לך השם תודה, תודה לך השם הלב דורש ומבקש על מה שיש לומר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם כל הנשמה תהלל קי וחכה רק לשיר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם הלב דורש ומבקש על מה שיש לומר תודה, תודה, תודה לך השם כל הנשמה תהלל קי וחכה רק לשיר תודה, תודה לך
On behalf of the Cartman and Lax families, and of course the Angelovas, I didn't think of missing out. We want to thank you for coming and welcome you to this 1 month birthday of Ayelet Chana, daughter of Gabi and Elisheva Cartman. And this is the 1 month birthday I mentioned, or we call it a Pigeon Abbas. There was a terrible famine reading this week's Torah portion about a terrible famine in the world, and refugees were pouring in from all parts of Egypt, to all parts of the world to Egypt, for Yosef to feed. And they asked him for some advice. And the wise Yosef said, move out of the desert. Not much food grows there. Anyway, when the Hebrew refugees seeking food, Yosef tortured them by abducting Shimon and Binyamin. Why did he do that? Because he could. Who cares if Jews are tortured, stabbed, beaten? No cries from the world to defend oppressed Jews. Yosef is testing them to see if their character has changed. We were left wondering last week's portion how the brothers would respond to Binyamin's abduction. Would they abandon him? How could they persuade Tzafnas Paneach, the viceroy of Egypt, to free their brother? How will they manage this life-threatening crisis? I can't help but think back to the 1960s, the great Batman TV series. There would be a two-part show. One week, the episode would end up with a cliffhanger. Batman and Robin left in a life-threatening situation, and they would have to use their bat skills to escape. The next episode would follow with how they escaped using their wits and, of course, their fancy gadgetry found in Batman's utility belt. Whether it was the Joker, Penguin, the Riddler, Catwoman, even King Tut, Pharaoh, who was their enemy. They acquired these crime-fighting skills not by magic or superpowers acquired through exposure to radiation, but by ordinary human skills, fine-honed through Sherlock Holmesian forensic studies, and developing athletic fighting skills, judo and karate, thinking and fighting their way out of their dilemmas. Notice the similarities between Yosef and Batman. They are both masked. Yosef hidden, disguised as an Egyptian. Yosef grew up a spoiled child, lavished with love of the teachings of his father, pampered with fancy clothing, a handsome lad, spending too much time in front of the mirror, only to be subject to a rude awakening when his brothers throw him in a pit of snakes and scorpions, nearly killing him, only to be sold into slavery by his own brothers, no less. What a horrific, life-changing, traumatic event. Batman, or Bruce Wayne, also a playboy, grew up in the lap of luxury in Wayne Manor. At a tender young age, when returning from a movie, they encounter a street mugger who, while robbing their jewelry, murders his parents in cold blood in front of him. This shocking trauma transforms Bruce's life, robbing him of his youth. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, he vows to avenge their deaths and seeks justice. Yosef as well overcame his natural tendency to become depressed by his brother's savagery and submit to despair. Instead, he becomes a workaholic. In whatever situation he finds himself in, he advances to become the manager, whether in Potiphar's household or even in prison, while behaving in a moral, chaste fashion, resisting the temptations of illicit relationships. Yehuda, his brother, also is shocked into change. When his brothers want to kill Yosef, Yehuda steps in and suggests selling him as a slave. Early in his life, Yehuda doesn't show the correct mercy for his brother. His main concern was to avoid having blood on his hands. In last week's parsha, why did Yaakov reject Reuven's custodianship and agree to Yehuda instead as Binyamin's protector? Yehuda has since experienced significant life-changing events. Yehuda knows the pain of losing his children. He can relate to the concerns of Yaakov. Yehuda also tried to protect his remaining child after his other children are lost. Yehuda acted in exactly the same manner that Yaakov behaved. Therefore, Yaakov trusted him to not take any unnecessary risks with Binyamin and do all he could to protect him. Yaakov's loss, Yehuda's experience as a bereaved parent makes him more sensitive to his father's pain. He understands that life has to go on. Yehuda steps up to Yosef and shows himself to be the leader of his brothers. His impassioned plea and willingness to sacrifice himself. He conveys the pain that Yaakov would endure with the loss of his second son by Rachel. His love for his father and his brothers are now crystal clear. While he didn't feel for Yosef in the pit, now Yosef hears the pain in Yehuda's voice and sees a different Yehuda. Yehuda breaks down Yosef's barriers and the brothers are once again reunited. The development of these characters, Bruce Wayne, Yosef, and Yehuda, teaches us that pain we experience in life can be a source of growth and transformation for the good. May this young gal be spared all the pain of life and only grow in goodness. And may I wish you all Mazel Tov.
I just have a few quick words to say. I'm Gabriel, by the way. I'm the father. Thank you so much. I also like to specifically thank my parents and my parents-in-law for making all this possible. They deserve a hand. And of course, Marvin and the group at Alna for making this lovely spread. So yeah, I just want to say a few words about the name. My daughter's name is Ayelet Chana. And so Ayelet really is the reason we chose it because we like the name. But I mean, just like every other word in the Hebrew language, there's a lot of meaning behind the word Ayelet. So by itself it means deer or gazelle, which by itself is actually a very meaningful creature in Judaism, a very meaningful symbol. But also when you take it with other words, there's a whole other range of meanings that it could be. And specifically, Ayelet Shachar is something that comes up a lot, which means the first light in the morning, the first shimmer of light before the sun even rises.
Has she been waking you up?
Yeah, she's been pretty good. But yeah, so Ayelet Shachar, what it actually means, if you translate it literally, is the deer of the morning or the gazelle of the morning, which is it sounds very poetic, but what does that mean exactly? What is the meaning behind that? And luckily for me, there's actually a Gemara that talks specifically about that in Masechet Yoma. It's a very good read. I recommend it to anyone. In Daf Kaftet, and basically just a bit of background. There's the Korban Tamid, which could only be given right at the first daybreak, and so it's a very important time for Korbanot. But the issue was there was this one time when they thought they saw the first light of the day, but really it was the moon. It was the light of the moon coming up from the horizon. And they by mistake sacrificed a korban, and there was a big mess. But so the whole discussion comes about the differences between the light of the sun and the light of the moon. Rabbi Nabraita says that the light of the moon basically is like a shaft of light, whereas the light of the sun is actually spreads out, branches out like the antlers of a deer, and so that's where it comes from. That you get, Ayelet Hashachar, it's the antlers of the deer. But then another question comes up: is why Ayelet? Ayelet is the female deer, and anyone who knows anything about deers and gazelles knows that it's the male that has the horns. That's Gazelles 101. Intro to gazelles. So I think an answer comes a bit later in that Gemara, where it likens the deer or the gazelle to another thing that's important in Judaism, which is prayer. And how is prayer like the deer? just like with the prayer of an individual, the more you persist with the prayer, even though things are going difficult, eventually your prayers are going to be answered, is the idea. And the idea is that the gazelle or the deer, the longer it lives, the more branches of the horns grow out. And that leads me to the name Chana, because Chana and women in general, they have a very special bond with Hashem. They're a lot closer with Hashem, and their tefillah means a lot more to Hashem. They don't need, for example, to wear tefillin like men do. They don't need a talis. They have a bond with Hashem that's all by itself more meaningful than that of men. And Chana herself in the Tanakh. Much of our prayers today is modeled on Chana and the way she davened for her child. But the reason why we called Ayelet Chana is after Savta Chana, which is Elisheva's great grandmother. And yeah, so she actually had a pretty difficult life, but she persisted. She kept going on, and eventually she started a family, and the family, just like the horns of the antler of the deer, it spread out, and it's amazing to watch this family. I'm so happy that I became part of the family itself. So Chana gets some of the qualities that Chana herself had, that Savta Chana had, and that she has a happy, beautiful life, and that we could provide for her as much as possible.
What does it mean, Ayelet? Again, it's the sunrise. When it rises slow. Yeah, so it's called also Ayelet So one of the rabbis is telling me, says this is exactly how the Geulah of Israel is going to be. Just like Ayelet slowly, slowly. Until the right, then suddenly it's there.
Perfect. Thank you.
השם מלך, השם מלך, השם ימלוך לעולם ועד. השם מלך, השם מלך, השם ימלוך לעולם ועד. ההלל השם אלוקים והגדלנו בתודה. ההלל השם אלוקים והגדלנו בתודה. י' וה' וה' השם אלוקינו השם אחד. י' וה' וה' השם אלוקינו השם אחד. השם מלך, השם מלך, השם ימלוך לעולם ועד. 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 ההלל השם אלוקים והגדלנו בתורה.